gracious. How the hell did that happen? I guess I hit some buttons. Why, hi there. It's Uncle Ron. It's Friday. It's Saturday afternoon, about 20 after 4. It's actually a rather pleasant day here in Burlington. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, expect a low of 55 degrees.
You can't really ask for. Thank you.
I don't know that.
Thank you, Alexa.
You bet. Have a good evening.
You too. So the weather is actually very good, and can't ask for nicer weather in Vermont in the middle of August than 70 degrees and kind of thunderstorm showery. All right. So whether it is tonight or tomorrow, Dave Little, how are you? The baseball season that I've been doing since January will come to an end. Figured out how to the stats that had the screen scroll. Had to count things today too because Uncle Rod's not a math wizard even with Excel. So starting Tuesday, I got to figure out what to do for some lunchtime stuff for the next couple weeks. September 3rd is the start of our new football replay 86. It'll be the Cleveland Browns and Chicago Bears from Soldier Field because the Bears are the defending Super Bowl champions. And I forgot they went 14-2 in 1986. But they did. And so they'll probably be featured a lot. So they in Cleveland are the first game of the season on that Tuesday at noontime. And we will do 2 games a week, just like we did last fall, on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. And if there is a need for a third game, it'll be like a Wednesday or a Saturday. It's pretty casual at that point. But Tuesdays and Thursdays are at noontime are my prime slots where you guys want to watch stuff. And so we will do just like last year, the entire 16-week season in time with the first 16 weeks of the NFL season. Christmas week's the wild card. New Year's week is the conference, the divisional games. The first full week of the year is the conference championship games. And that's also the opening weekend of whatever baseball season we're doing for 2020. Bobby, how are you? And then we don't take a bye week for the Super Bowl. So I forget when we did it last year, but like mid-January or whatever, we'll do the Professional Football Championship of 1986, the 20th since the unofficial merger between the AFL and the NFL. It's kind of super, if you ask me. So that's what we got coming up. Variety of things that I've kind of got side projects on as far as I am doing just fine, Bobby. Thanks for asking. Things that may or may not be streamed on the channel. We'll do some AFL stuff. I think we'll probably do an AFL game on Tuesday. I think there are 3 weeks between now and once the next long-term project goes. And Dave Little, if you're still watching, this will be the second long-term project I finished for the channel. The first one being the 78 football season with Pittsburgh beating Dallas in the championship. And now we've reached Game 6 of the World Series and this one. And I looked today and I saw that I think that tonight's stream will be the 93rd added to the playlist. There's a couple I think I'm missing in there too, but all the playoff games are there. So 95 to 98 games, because some of those were doubleheader streams. Since January, it's going to take us about 30 weeks to get this done. And whether it's tonight or tomorrow afternoon, it will be done. And then a couple weeks to rest. So things I've been thinking about. I do want to do the 2004-2005 University of Vermont basketball season as a basketball project. I think college works a little bit better for me. That is the team that beat Syracuse in the NCAAs. Got courts, got names. They will start against Kansas. That's how that season started. They traveled to Cole Fieldhouse to play the Jayhawks. who are the number one team in the country, and they only lost by 7. So UVM has a chance. Not say, oh, sorry, yeah, they're saying there's a chance. No, they actually might have a legitimate chance. And the other big name in that pre-conference schedule was North Carolina down at the Deep Dome with Roy Williams as their first-year coach. So we'll probably feature probably the Kansas game at lunch too. So that's coming up. Some AFL stuff coming up. But what do you guys want to see over the next couple of weeks at lunchtime? Projects that you'd like to see. What do you want to see for baseball content between now and the middle of January? The new version of the game will come out, right around Christmas. And that's when we'll do the intro video. And I'll do what I did for this year because it works so well. That night, you will get a chance to nominate seasons. I'll put them in a poll, and whoever wins is a season that we play. 1982 is not going to be replayed. But, thanks for choosing that. Other thing you notice, if you go in the description of my stream, you see a link for StreamYard and some fuzzy code by it. That is the referral code. I bought a month of this to see how much of it I would use. That's why you're not seeing a logo in the upper right. If you like StreamYard or on the fence, if you spend $25, I get $25 in credit, which buys me another month. I'd like to do some longer interviews, and this is much easier to use than setting up something on Skype to do that. And of course, we no longer have Hangouts on air. But so I bought a month to see what I could do, and I'm trying to configure with a couple guests. But if I have not interviewed you and you are a content creator of semi-note, I would love to talk with you. You can send me a message if you're part of the community. It's on Discord. Drop a note here. You can find me on Facebook. I'll even do this. That's the email if you want to get a hold of me that way. And I would, you got to be someone I haven't talked to before and create content for someplace where I can check it out. I want to help get your story out, get my interview skills in, and use this software because this software isn't cheap if you pay for it. This StreamYard, which does a lot of good things, I'm really, really happy with what it does, but it costs more for me to buy it for a month than it does to have a subscription to Office and the other streaming software I use for the games. But if you've hit the refer, you're interested, you like what it does, you've watched some of the things that we've done with it. Chat with Al is now done with this software. The other night when we taped Digital to Dice with Dave Gardner, we did it on this software. And so you can see what it actually will do for you. If you're interested in actually trying it out for a month, if you didn't get the 5 days, like I said, if you spend $25, I get a $25 credit. So that's that with that. So yes. So if you have not been interviewed by me and you do create content and actually have a semi-active channel, I would love to chat with you. And if you watched some of the Ron Zuckett shows from before, it's usually 2 hours. We just kind of sit down and talk back and forth about what you like and what you don't like. And you take questions from the community. And we usually have a pretty good time. And if you think that 2 hours is a long time to sit and look at your ugly mug, it goes by quick. It really does go by quick. You can go back on the channel and look. Al, Red Sox fan. Chris, Tabletop Sports Delaware. Sports Time Machine's been on. Dave Gardner's been on. ID Jester's been on. And a couple others. So if you're interested, that be the email. Or message me at, Facebook or Discord or something like that. All right. So that's pretty much what I got. So what do you here's the request for what do you want to see on the channel conversation? What do you want to see on the channel? Let me know in the chat. I know we'll be doing some more Patreon games. Yeah, it really does. And you think like, oh, really 2 hours? And it's gone. It really is just kind of a conversation that people watch. Oh, I had the OG on too. And that was a fun conversation. So what would you like to see? I have all the Action PC Sports. Like I said, we'll do at least one AFL game. But the AFL is kind of one that you can just kind of fill in at any point. Probably will be more of a regular thing after next football season's concerned. Football replays usually run, I think we did 38 regular season games. Yeah, I mean, you can always do an 80s tournament. It's been talked about actually, Dave, with Kurt Berglund. By the way, Dave's group, Sports Simulations and Replays, now over 1,100 strong on Facebook. That's awesome. You are a cruel, cruel man, Demos. Absolutely cruel. A Bob Stanley marathon. Look, I don't have much hair up here, okay? I don't need to lose any more of it. Cruel man. And I forgot what I was going to say. But those are possibilities. Have all the Action PC products. Oh, the last year's football replay, 36, 37, 38 regular season games and all 9 playoff games. Remember, the last week of the season, we had 6 possible winning-in games, and I think I had to play them all for the last 2 spots. And somehow the Giants backed in to win the wild card in 78 because the Eagles couldn't do it. And I forgot what happened in the AFC. But we had a lot of fun. Walk-off safeties, cold celery, moxie, you name it. We did it. Okay. All right. Oh, come on. Are you really? After screwing around with trying to download the new Windows update last night, watching Dave Little's game, it now wants to restart. Oh, I hate the Windows update. On the Bob Stanley gag. Bob Stanley, of course, I'm a Red Sox fan, as you know. And Bob Stanley was the quote-unquote closer for the Red Sox for much too much of my childhood. As a long reliever, he was quite good. But if you needed someone to get 3 outs, and so it always seemed to be when I was a kid that the Red Sox needed to get 6 outs to get, they would have left 10,000 base runners on base, and Stanley, because he threw a palm ball, if the ball sinks, it's on the ground. It's a double play ball. But if it doesn't sink, it go far. It go very far. It scores runs. And little Ron didn't like that. So that's the Bob Stanley gag. And of course, after the 1986 World Series, which was, the pinnacle and the zenith and nadir of my childhood, they run out because Roger Clemens held out to start the 87 season. He wasn't ready to start. And so John McNamara, and his infinite blessed wisdom, sends out Bob Stanley as the opening day starter in 87, which I believe is the game I played for Demos. And so, yes, that's the Bob Stanley gag. It really is. Apparently, Bob is just the most wonderful human being, a very nice guy, a baseball lifer, but he caused nightmares for me as a kid. And so I guess I've forgiven him now. I mean, I am pushing 50, but that is that. So it's not like the Alan Trammell thing, which was just very funny. This literally goes back to childhood and stuff. So playing some ABA basketball with the doctor. Go Nets. Or you're playing Virginia with that DC. Yeah, Demos. Who's your favorite player? Who's your least favorite player? I should play some George Hendrick just for Todd B. That is so funny. I'm still trying to figure out the backstory on that. Someone skated for 3 hours this afternoon. I'm not sure who that was. So that's that. So probably, yeah, there might be another tournament involved. I like that Sunday afternoon slot at 4. That actually worked out quite well. Well, someone with the name DC picked out the Virginia Squires. Isn't that true to life? Isn't that cool? So that makes sense. You having fun with it? So yeah, you know what more would you like to see on the channel? Dave Little, by the way, his Milwaukee Bucks. All right, Bobby, take care. His Milwaukee Bucks had won 25 straight games going into last night. And because Windows was being a poopy head, it kind of went in and out a couple times, and I just fell asleep. But they lost last night to the Atlanta Hawks, making that a very interesting series. That's Jimi Hendrix. Not George Hendrix. It's Jimi Hendrix with an X. Oh, Davey. So that's that. So yeah, that's fun. What other projects are you guys working on? I know Dave Gardner is trying to get ready to do some game-winning drive and uploaded all the teams for his shootout hockey helper for 73-74. I don't remember the WHA. To be honest, I hear thunder in the background. Really? Bob Horner? Why is that? That's a curious thing, that person not to like. Yep. Alcindor missed a layup, which would have put the Bucks ahead. But you can't win everything. That's for sure. Oh, now that should be interesting. Tribe fan Tim is going to be doing the 2018 Rockies. I assume he's doing that in the Strat Sadvi. Huh. Okay. Prima Donna. I never would have guessed that. And I watched a lot of Braves when we had cable before we moved to the central part of Vermont, which didn't have cable, or not where we lived anyway. Never played a minor league game. All right. So yeah, the Rockies coming to the Stratomatic table soon in Sadvi. Well, that's cool. Anniversary story, you got to go back and watch last night's game. Never got to see him. All right. Why a love-hate relationship with Paul O'Neill? I mean, O'Neill kind of was a happier version of Pete Rose. I mean, the man never took a day off in his life. And, of course, he went to the Yankees. I listened to New England team and Stingers from Cincinnati. Oh, this guy was set of status pro with a 71 season for WHA. Chuck Hayton doing the games then for the Whalers, because he did them forever. And then he moved down to, before he got fired this past year, down to Raleigh-Durham for the Hurricanes. I might want to experiment actually doing a replay of some sort with a team I actually like. Couldn't hit lefties worth a darn in Cincinnati. We called him Alice because he swung like a girl. Roll those Chesterfields. For sure. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. He played hard, though. It was different hockey for sure. Yes, he became a legend in New York. It certainly helps when you have a right field line of 295. course, Yankee Stadium, a little more friendly of a hitting park than Riverfront ever was, or Synergy. So let's see. So what else? Aww, how come it's the last of the Manic Monday series? History maker for 2018 Washington versus the Cubs. That's been fun. I haven't caught every game of that because I'm either out or whatever, but what I've watched, I've really enjoyed. And I actually didn't mind your anti-Red Sox and Yankee rant or strat, but I'll be sorry to see that go. What are you going to be working on for projects? He's still doing the White Sox thing on Wednesday. Also, I'm curious to see what you guys would like us to talk about on the Dice podcast as well. Excuse me. So I got into action. Relax, have fun, relax, and relax. Which sport? Did I say relax? Because you're not going to be. So David and I are always looking for your ideas. Probably won't do any round tables until we get further along the line. All right, just kind of, down, distance, time, and score. That's probably what you got. If you can get rosters early, any questions on the names? But again, down, distance, time, and score, and relax. They hired you for a reason. You're really good. You're going to be just fine. Make mistakes, tape it, learn from your mistakes, be critical of yourself. But if I didn't say it already, relax. Yep. I'll put that up there again because we all make mistakes, even if it's not a professional broadcast at all. And you go back and figure out what you did right or what you did wrong. And sometimes it's a technical goof. Sometimes you forget how many outs there are in an inning. Good for you. You should do that. That would be awesome. Oh, my pleasure, Elin. My pleasure. Picking up on the White Sox replay to speed it along. At the end of the month, we'll be doing a pennant chase. Oh, you really like History Maker. I know that they are working on new seasons for Pine Tar as well, because I follow that action. I think they're working on new stuff for Pine Tar. Kurt Berglund is the one I probably should talk to about that. And if you're not friends with him on Facebook, you probably should be, because they're doing that. So that'd be awesome for Dane to do some of that. Tony Whitehill, hopefully, who's a semi-regular watcher of the channel, will be doing them. St. Johnsbury Academy football, hopefully, in a couple of weeks, once that season starts. It's going to be here before you know it. As far, Dave Little at one point asked me if I would do college football, and of course I would. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but I don't hate it. And if they had something in mind, I'd be glad to do some college football. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Oh, I thought you liked it. Okay. If I knew what... No, he's actually got hired by a school in Wyoming, I think, Todd, to call all their games. Volleyball, soccer, basketball, and football. And so he starts. And because he got the job from calling games on YouTube, kid has got one hell of a set of pipes. And it got him a job just doing that practice. And a nice demo reel. And why not? Dave Gardner has actually done some hockey too. Playing short games to 50. Oh, now that's interesting. You're doing that with... That's interesting. You learn spikes, I guess. I don't know. I went from writing about sports to calling fake games on YouTube, and it pays better. So, Elon, how do you call volleyball? There's a lot of actual games that are streamed on YouTube. It's just easy to do. You get a direct audience. You know what your advertisers want, and it's all very specific. And so, yes, there's a lot of sporting events I've watched on YouTube. Yes, I picked up in last week's sale from Action PC the 2004-05 basketball season, which is the year that UVM beat Syracuse. And so I'm going to do all those games between now and the springtime, and not in any hurry. And we'll do one this week against Kansas at the Cole Fieldhouse. So, yes. Mr. Chris, how are you? So, yeah, so some college basketball. And so UVM's got big games against out-of-conference games against the Kansas and North Carolina on the road. Good luck with that. We are well. How are you? Plus, you get to see a lot of Binghamton and New Hampshire and Maine because it's America East. Now, which Anthony Young season? Boy, so many masochists on this channel. Oh, all right. Well, yeah, we'll probably do that one. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. In real life, Kansas only beat Vermont by 7. Congratulations. That's right. You got a game against Philip Reynolds tonight at 7 o'clock on his channel. The 79 Pirates and stuff. And then we'll do, after that one's over, we'll do game 6 of the World Series. Volleyball is a sport that makes me the most nervous. I got the job on a mix of YouTube stuff that I did. Also, yep, that's important to do. I don't know if they have it. If you want it, I'll see what I can do. I think I got the playoffs teams. Volleyball on the radio would be tough because you got a picture in your head. You know, we all know how to do basketball. Hockey is always a tough sport to call because it goes by so fast. Football, you have lots of time to set up. Elon, are you working by yourself or are you going to have a color person? Baseball, you got to fill time. And soccer, you just can't call every pass. When they start to charge, you do that. And of course, since you're calling it for a high school, it's more important that you get all the names right so grandma's happy. And for Dave, hockey is the easiest, but you know it really well. And so that's why it's the easiest. 8 or a little thereafter. Someone else has got to stream at 7 o'clock, and so we won't do that. So no earlier than 8, but probably 8:05, 8:10. Well, that's good. If you have video to go along with it, volleyball won't be so bad because people can see what it is that you're calling. And so just get names right. I think now you get a point even if you're not serving, if whatever. So, okay. So, yeah, you got to be descriptive. You'll get it. I don't know how many games they play in a volleyball season, but you'll be a lot better in all those sports in about a month than you are now. Just kind of relax. You know where things are on the court. If you know the terminology and you know the names, that's all that the people are going to care about. Be curious if they actually put the volleyball on the radio. I don't think I've ever heard volleyball on the radio. No, that's not true. In the 1988 Olympics, they did Team USA volleyball on the radio, which was interesting. It was on WFAN too. That's right. Drink something very fizzy. And, drink something very fizzy and make sure you burp often. Yeah. Depends on how you did it and depends on who turned you in. I got a strike for using a kiddie singer on a stream. Actually, I got something I got to send you on Discord if I can find it again. That has to do with that music. So, yes. What do I think of Downey games? I like them. Dave's the one that has bought the most and plays them. Hardball Wars is fun too. And I'm sure someone's going to say, do a tractor pull, because you can do that. Let's see. What else? And that's the thing. YouTube is a very good library. All the cuts I've used on my stuff, except for the time that I got nailed, were from the YouTube library. Funny cars. Drag racing. And Dave's right. Downey games are great for what they do. I like hardball wars. Everyone's rated in a column, and you adjust for the pitchers, and then you roll like anything else. Not a huge fan of XSplits and all that, but I think it is a good game. Not a game I'd probably go out there and pick up again, but I did enjoy it. All right. In the description of this video is a referral link to StreamYard. If you want to go pro with it, you get $10 off if you click my link. If you spend $25 or more, I get $25 as a referral credit. So, and link is in the description. Well, I kind of like the concept of all the Play.com games. I'm not really a NASCAR fan. I watched a bunch early on. We used to play cards with someone that was a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. So you watch. But because there's no helper with it, I really can't play it. But that one would be one I would probably try out, but I'm not sure how much if I would buy it. But yeah, from what I've watched Rob and Chris do, yeah, I could see it's a good game. I'll let Dave answer that. I think it'll probably be a little more involved than the fast action football that you're playing now, Dave, and I'm not sure how much you'd like it. In fact, I don't really know if anyone's playing it. But Hardball Wars was good. And much like roster card baseball, all the players came on one sheet as opposed to individual cards. So the OG is here. Devin is in the house. So right now the tentative schedule for the channel is tonight, Game 6, 8 or a little thereafter It'll be Jim Palmer. He's going to go on 3 days rest to save the season for Baltimore against Charlie Lee. The Expos win. They are the world champions. Tomorrow, we will see what actually happens. Depends on what happens tonight. If the Orioles force a Game 7, 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for Game 7. No schedule is streamed from Monday. That just doesn't mean I haven't scheduled anything yet. Tuesday at lunch, the AFL swings on RSN. I think we are doing New York and Houston from Houston in a Week 5 game. And then Thursday, we'll probably introduce the UVM basketball project, and they will be at Kansas to play the Kansas Jayhawks. Most of my streams are using the Action PC library, and so the baseball's no exception. This is the end of a 30-week replay. We did 3 games a week, 2 live, and sometimes that third game was live or on tape. And then we did the best of 5 league championship series, which Montreal swept the Dodgers. And Baltimore and California went the full 5 games. And now we're playing Game 6 of the World Series. So Action PC is my engine of choice. Same thing, in Washington with Davey Martinez. Yeah, the Mets are right in there in a playoff spot. Isn't that crazy? It's just easy to stream. Ain't that the truth, my friend? No game engine is perfect. And you do a lot of the inside sports games, and ID Jester did that whole Bo Jackson thing using inside pitch. But I like how the Action PC games play. They play like a card and dice game, even with a closed engine. There's no limits on what a player can or cannot do. You make enough decisions as far as what you want to call and what you don't want to call. So you feel like you are a part of the outcome. You're doing more than just sitting there and watching the game. Only going to go a couple more minutes. I'm going to have myself some dinner in a few. I've got my stats done for tonight. Some interesting things. And, of course, Uncle Ron hates math. To get set for tonight's Game 6. But, yeah, and, the nice thing about Action PC is that pretty much everything is on sale at some point or another. And so it's really easy to get a library of seasons that you want. It's easier to call because there is quote-unquote action in the game, although Al does a great job calling OOTP. And, if you can read the card fast enough in Strat, that is not a bad game to call baseball. Problem is, the print's so small, it's hard to see. Have I chosen the next baseball replay? You guys choose the baseball replay that I do. Because it's my favorite sport, it really doesn't matter what season I do. So what will happen, I actually talked about this at the beginning of the video, of the stream. What I do the night that the game goes live, I'll do the unboxing video, and in the chat, we'll just give, tell me, you'll get to nominate some seasons. So we're showing off the new things in the game, and we'll do a game or two. I'll say, okay, what season do you want me to do? And you'll put whatever it is that you want. And then last year, I'd set up an easy poll. I think we had 5 options. And people voted for the season. And I thought going in the last day that we were doing 88. And 82 won on the last day. And that's how we got there. But so football are seasons that I choose because I'm not a huge football fan. But baseball, even if it's a year the Yankees won the World Series, I'll do it. As long as you guys enjoy it. Certainly having the Excel helper for the cards, I think made that better for you. Oh, Davey. Gosh, whatever would make you say that, Braves for Life? I don't understand. Of the early 90s seasons, for me, 93 is the most intriguing because that's the last one before the wild card and a great race between Atlanta and San Francisco. It's Bond's first year in San Francisco. Blue Jays' first or second World Series. 91, of course, for last to first for Atlanta and Minnesota. Red Sox were terrible. Yankees were terrible. That's a good sign. Don't tell Mr. Mike that though. But yeah, it'll go into a poll. 94 would be tricky because after August 17th, it's kind of all a guess anyway about what would happen. I usually play, that's right, National League expansion in 93. You got the Marlins and the Rockies. You'll take what I give you and you'll like it. Really? Now, wait a minute. I just realized you're playing 1919. You want juice ball? You're playing dead ball, and now you want juice ball. The Yankees were phenomenal in 98, by the way. August 17th was the strike. August 17th. And that would have been the first year of the permanent division series, best of 5 affairs. If someone wanted to sponsor that for an honest to goodness playoff, I think we could do that. But that would not be cheap because you're talking 4 best of 5. Oh, did I like managing AL or NL games better? I strictly was an AL fan until I started to cover the Nationals. And it's an interesting question because in AL games, I think it's easier to manage the pitchers. So you can go because you're still pitching a lot of innings in, so you can let them go. And the National League, what I didn't like is pitcher spot comes up and you got a good pitcher on the mound and he needs to come out for some pinch hitter. So I did more AL games because the races were tighter, but the NL games were fun. But personally, I like the DH. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to do a half a season though. 81 and 80 and 94 were ones with long strikes. I'd hate to see the 94 season stop. That one would take some work. Those are worth some money, Glenn, for sure. If you have them. But we'll see. Someone wanted 64. We kind of go all over the place. The bread and butter for me is 76 through 93. Unless you did like a Red Sox World Series year. But it depends on what you guys want. There's some good races, preferably something with a good race or whatever. The interesting thing that I found about doing long-term replays like that is that the standings in the replay never come close to what really happened. And we only got one race that was within 5 games in 82 as opposed to all 4. In fact, Detroit only won 83 in the real replay. They finished 6 games behind Boston, and Boston just couldn't do anything. All right, last call for questions and stuff. So we'll do football and basketball next week. But yeah, you want to see some more golf? Well, that was fun doing the 79 Pirates in that 70s tournament. Thurman Munson. That's just terrible. Baltimore had a great season. Montreal came right down to the end. California emerged. Pittsburgh and Montreal. But I hate John McNamara with a passion. And he made the playoffs that year. I won my first ever bet on that World Series. I bet $1 on Pittsburgh. My mom can't believe it. Couldn't believe it when she had to pay up. All right, anything else? We'll put it to a poll. If I read it 87, though, or if I did 87, the first game would be whoever the Mets played. One of those Mets seasons would be fun, just because they're so good. You know, you really just want to ride around a thoroughbred. 84 would be fun. See if the Cubs can come back when they get Sutcliffe. So, yeah. So, we'll talk about that in December. And whatever. And that was fun. I enjoyed doing that. But I know the football season is 86. Okay. So, if you're interested in getting the subscription to StreamYard, the referral link is in the description. You get $10 off if you do it that. And if you spend $25 or more, I get $25 in credit. Man, that'd be fun. That might be a side project. God, that would be fun. You know, if I did the Red Sox in 86, I don't think they win. I think the Yankees are probably a better team on paper. And Toronto isn't chopped liver either. The Red Sox got so lucky early on in 86. But having Seaver for a couple months, that's fun. Mike Scott is phenomenal. We almost did 88 this year. I bet if 88 gets nominated again, I bet it wins. And then you get the Mets and the Dodgers. That 88 Mets team was just as good as 86, and they had Greg Jeffries. They brought him up. He was the future. But we'll see. We'll see. Whatever it is that you guys choose, I'd be interested maybe in doing an older season too. That is true. It was rough, but it was for the Red Sox. It was Clemens and Hurst and fear for the worst. 85 is an intriguing year. There's lots of good years in there. And if a modern season won, a modern season would win. And it's the same thing. People will watch the 60 AFL stuff I do. So it would be the same format as I did this. It would be best of over a given week on a Wednesday. Well, when the time comes, you know, it's whatever gets in there. 50s would be fun. Problem is, I got to make sure it's a replay. I get yelled at every once in a while for the games that put up from 64 because people thought they were real games. But 51, 54, what was it? 50 came down the last weekend for the National League. 51 went to the 3-game playoff. What was it 56 or 7? The Dodgers were chased down again in the last week. Of course, Mantle and Berra. Really anything post-war. Even 41. DiMaggio's hitting streak. So, yeah, post-war. I don't think I'd want to do a dead ball season. And I'd be surprised if a dead ball... No, I've jinxed that. A dead ball season would win. But, you know, I'm fairly flexible. But for me, the most fun are people that I know. Although right from like 46 to 60 is a good era. Spawn, Insane, and Pray for Rain. I had a good friend that's no longer with us that grew up in Chicago in that era. And he just loved the Go-Go Sox. Was a huge Nellie Fox fan. And was so happy after, they won game 1 in Chicago. They kind of all went south from there, but was there. All right, I'm going to go have some chicken and cheese for dinner, and I will see you tonight about 8 or a little thereafter, depending on what Tabletop Sports Delaware's and Philip Reynolds stream does, but no earlier than 8 for Game 6 of the World Series. Thanks for watching, gang. I'm Ron Juckett. Hit that like and or subscribe if you haven't already. And we will talk to you tonight for Game 6. Until then, bye-bye.